Yo, what's good, family? It's your guy back with another breakdown, and today we're diving headfirst into some heavy Louisiana street tension that might honestly leave you stunned. Listen to this. Remember when NBA YoungBoy dropped that track Nussie, and the entire Louisiana scene started buzzing instantly? Alright, let's really unpack it, because this isn't just about a song. This is about years of pressure, real street roots, and two hometown icons who went from tight to totally split. When YB said Nussie on that record, trust me, it wasn't random at all. He was reopening old wounds that most people thought had already healed. And that line, it cut especially deep for Boosie, who believed that chapter was long closed. We're talking about a serious situation that nearly flipped Boosie's entire life upside down. The loss of a respected street figure and how Baton Rouge was never the same afterward. This is the kind of story that rattles an entire city to its core. So to understand how things reached this point, we've got to rewind all the way back. Both NBA YoungBoy and Boosie come straight out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, but their connection runs way deeper than most folks realize. Hold up, Baton Rouge isn't even that big. We're talking roughly 220,000 people total. So when two major artists rise from the same city, their paths are guaranteed to cross eventually. Boosie was already controlling the city back in the early 2000s. He had BR locked in long before YoungBoy ever touched the spotlight. Back then, YoungBoy was just a kid watching a neighborhood legend move, never imagining their names would later be tied to one of Louisiana's wildest sagas. We're talking about Lil Boosie, a figure who came up alongside Siak, dropping classics while YoungBoy was still sitting in classrooms. But here's the thing about Baton Rouge. That city is carved up by deep, unspoken lines. You've got North Baton Rouge, South Baton Rouge, and different sections that don't always align. Boosie reps the South Side, especially the bottom, while YoungBoy comes straight out of the North. Now that might sound like a minor detail, but in Baton Rouge, those boundaries mean everything. In street culture, where you're from can define your entire narrative. By the time YoungBoy started heating up around 2015 and 2016, Boosie was already stamped as a Louisiana legend. At first, there was nothing but respect and good energy between them. Boosie recognized real talent when he saw it, and YoungBoy knew how to salute the OGs who paved the way. There was no beef early on. They were genuinely cool and even showed love publicly. But then things shifted, and it happened fast. The first cracks didn't come from open conflict. They came from something deeper: respect and how situations were expected to be handled. YoungBoy's rise was faster than anyone predicted. His YouTube numbers were exploding, the streets were behind him, and major labels were lining up non-stop. But with that level of success came a noticeable change. Whispers started spreading that YoungBoy wasn't showing proper respect to the legends before him. Boosie began feeling some type of way when YoungBoy stopped clearing records and the Louisiana Brotherhood felt different. In one interview, Boosie tried to explain what really happened. He said, "Man, I cleared everything and showed love to all artists. I rock with freedom, but I don't know what happened with Top. I just don't know what happened." What Boosie was really getting at is how he used to go out of his way to help Louisiana artists, clearing samples, offering support, and making sure their music could actually reach the public. But when it came to YoungBoy, something clearly changed. Maybe it was label politics, maybe it got personal. Either way, that same energy wasn't being returned, and Boosie felt it deeply. That's when the pressure started building. Suddenly, slick lines and indirect shots began popping up in songs and interviews. Boosie started feeling like the respect was gone. And listen, when you disrespect a Louisiana legend, things can spiral fast. The city slowly split right down the middle. You were either Team Boosie or Team YoungBoy, and that divide had Baton Rouge buzzing non-stop with rumors and debates. When everything reached a boiling point, Boosie stopped holding back. He made it clear he felt YoungBoy was crossing boundaries and skipping the respect part. From Boosie's perspective, he had spent years grinding for Louisiana hip-hop, opening doors, creating platforms, and setting the stage for the next wave, only to feel like YoungBoy wasn't appreciating it. From there, the tension jumped from quiet whispers to open mic energy.
Fans started catching on to lyrics from YoungBoy that felt way too specific to ignore, and Boosie wasn't staying quiet either. Online, the fans were eating the drama up, but in the streets, the mood was getting heavier. Boosie's stance was simple. The young star needed to respect the OGs who built the road before him. He felt YoungBoy was moving too reckless and needed to slow it down. But here's the part that shocked everybody. For a brief moment, these two actually found peace. We're talking about a legendary phone call that had Kevin Gates, Fredo Bang, Boosie, and YoungBoy all on the same line. This wasn't a casual check-in.
This was Louisiana royalty coming together to finally cool the situation off. Boosie later spoke about that moment with real emotion, saying it caught him completely off guard. He explained that he was already talking about the YoungBoy situation when Gates joined, then Fredo jumped in, and suddenly it turned into something powerful. That call happened right after Boosie accepted a plea deal in his federal case, during a time when he was under intense pressure. Family issues, legal stress, everything piling up at once. That one conversation hit him in the best possible way. He even admitted, "I really needed that phone call." You could hear how much it meant to him. It was like a bright moment in one of the darkest chapters of his life. Everyone on that call had their own past issues and differences, but for once, it was all mutual respect. For a while after that, the energy actually cooled off. Boosie said once everyone got back to working and focusing on their grind, he wasn't the type to hold on to hate. It was a rare moment of unity in Louisiana hip-hop, proof that even with pride, history, and ego, respect can still bring people together when it truly matters. But just when it looked like everything was solid, the tension crept back in. It started when YoungBoy dropped a few tracks that had fans talking non-stop. Some people felt he was sneaking shots at Boosie again. Others said it was just music. Either way, the internet ran with it, and once social media grabbed hold, the rumors spread like wildfire. Boosie wasn't feeling that narrative at all. He went online and made it clear he wasn't looking for beef, but he also wasn't letting anyone play with his name. "I don't got no problem with that man," he said in an interview, "but I stand on respect. Always have, always will." You could tell there was still some unspoken tension, even if nobody said it directly. Fans kept picking sides, posting clips, and breaking down lyrics like detectives. Every bar, every post, every look, people were hunting for hidden messages. Baton Rouge felt split again, with Team Boosie and Team YB popping up everywhere. At the same time, both artists stayed focused on their own paths. YoungBoy remained locked in, dropping project after project and proving he didn't need constant public appearances to stay dominant. Meanwhile, Boosie continued doing shows, staying connected to the people, and reminding everyone he's been representing Louisiana since day one. Even without direct communication, the respect was still there, just buried under pride and shared history. Fans might crave the drama, but both men know their names hold serious weight in the same city that raised them. For a moment, it really felt like Louisiana was healing. Boosie even spoke about possibly doing a full project with YoungBoy, and fans lost their minds at the idea. The city buzzed with excitement. For the first time in a long time, it felt like the tension was actually over. People believed the past was behind them, and Louisiana hip-hop was entering a new chapter. And honestly, Kevin Gates likely played a major role in making that peace call happen. He's always been that mediator in the state, the one trying to keep everybody on the same page. And don't forget Fredo Bang in all of this. He's Boosie's cousin, so naturally he wanted to see both his family and his city finally move past the chaos. At that point, it honestly felt like the perfect window for healing. But here's the angle most people completely overlook. Boosie's son, Tootie Raw, is actually one of NBA YoungBoy's biggest fans. No exaggeration, this kid plays YoungBoy's music non-stop. And if we're being real, that probably pushed Boosie even harder toward ending the tension. Imagine being Boosie and your own child asks you, "Dad, why you beefing with my favorite rapper?" That kind of question hits different, especially when family's involved. Tootie Raw may have been the reminder Boosie needed about what truly matters: peace and setting the right example. Tootie represents the new generation of Louisiana, young fans who just want unity, positive energy, and great music without all the old baggage. Seeing his son admire YoungBoy likely made Boosie realize this situation was bigger than ego. It was about culture, legacy,
and the next generation watching every move. That's when it becomes about moving smart and with purpose. Now, YoungBoy brings a completely different type of energy to the table. This is an artist who's been through real trauma, and you can hear it in every record. His upbringing wasn't glamorous. He's faced legal trouble, pressure, and real-life struggles that shaped who he is today. That's why the streets connect to him, because his music isn't fiction, it's lived experience.
When YoungBoy raps about pain and survival, it's not performance, it's memory. And Boosie understands that better than most. He's been through his own battles with the system, beat major cases, and worked hard to rebuild his name the right way. At this stage of life, Boosie knows pointless drama isn't worth the risk, especially when there's so much to lose. YoungBoy, on the other hand, is still young, energetic, and hungry. And that hunger can sometimes push people into risky territory. But Boosie is operating in a different lane now. He's a father, a businessman, a certified Louisiana legend. He's thinking about family, investments, and the legacy he leaves behind. That's why the smartest move for him has been to stay calm and let the music speak. Age plays a role here too. Boosie is in his 40s, carrying wisdom earned through survival. YoungBoy is still in his early 20s, moving fast with that fearless edge. Boosie likely sees a younger version of himself in YB, and he doesn't want to watch that potential get wasted over unnecessary conflict. But just when things felt settled, everything shifted again. YoungBoy dropped a track that completely reignited the conversation. The song was called Nussie. And listen, when that record dropped, both the internet and the streets exploded. Nobody saw it coming. The timing made it even more shocking. For those who don't know, Nussie references a well-known Baton Rouge figure who was killed back in 2009. Here's why that matters. Boosie had once been tied to that same situation through a massive court case years earlier, a case that nearly changed his life forever. So when YoungBoy used that name, people couldn't believe it, especially since it came just weeks after that peacemaking phone call with Boosie, YoungBoy, Kevin Gates, and Fredo Bang. The optics alone felt off. Christopher Jackson, known as Nussie or Mr. Badass, was a major name in Baton Rouge during the early 2000s. This wasn't just some street rumor figure. He had real influence in the city. People saw him as business-minded, determined, and respected. Coming out of Easy Town, Nussie represented South Baton Rouge proudly. He ran his own ventures and was even building momentum in music. He owned Club 225, lived fast, and had the kind of lifestyle that came with attention. In one of his final interviews, Nussie said he was just a street guy trying to prove he could rap, backed by people who truly supported him. He claimed he built everything from the ground up. But Nussie wasn't just known for hustling. He had a reputation for being bold, sometimes crossing even those close to him. Stories circulated that he once took product from his own father's connection and disappeared overnight. That kind of movement earned both respect and fear across Baton Rouge. But with reputation comes tension, and Nussie had plenty of it. He reportedly clashed with multiple figures in the city, including people connected to Boosie's circle. The disputes were about territory, money, and respect, the same issues that have fueled street conflicts for generations. Then came February 9th, 2009, the day everything changed. Nussie was found shot at his home on America Street in Baton Rouge. The city was shaken. Almost immediately, rumors spread, and Boosie's name was pulled into the conversation. Investigators focused on a young man named Michael Marlowe Louding, who they believed had inside knowledge. They claimed he was close to Boosie and had carried out violent acts tied to him, including the Nussie incident. Prosecutors accused Boosie of orchestrating everything, alleging he paid $30,000 due to an ongoing dispute. They painted Boosie as a mastermind, a kingpin using younger men to do his bidding. The case was massive. Boosie Badazz was facing the most serious legal consequences imaginable. Initially, Marlo Mike agreed to cooperate and even said he'd testify against Boosie. But then things took a strange turn. People began noticing details that didn't add up. One detail stood out immediately. Marlo Mike had a tattoo across his stomach that read, Boosie. When Marlo Mike took the stand, he completely flipped his story. He admitted, under oath, that he had lied about Boosie ever giving him orders. That single moment shifted the entire case. Once his testimony unraveled, the prosecution's arguments started collapsing fast. Piece by piece, their case fell apart. Eventually, Boosie was found not guilty on all major charges. Legally, it was a massive win, but in the streets, the whispers didn't disappear. The story had already traveled too far, and Nussie's name stayed permanently linked to Boosie in public perception. Even after the acquittal, people kept debating what really happened that night. In reality, the only connection prosecutors ever had was Marlo Mike's original statement. They tried to paint Boosie as a street mastermind, someone allegedly using younger guys to handle violent business. Federal prosecutors claimed they had phone records, witnesses, and inside information. They even labeled him the brains behind multiple violent acts. But once Marlo Mike recanted, that entire narrative collapsed instantly. He told the court he lied to investigators to try and reduce his own sentence, and he made it clear Boosie had nothing to do with it. Without that testimony, the prosecution had nothing left, and just like that, Boosie walked free. Still, freedom didn't erase the damage. His reputation had already taken a hit. In the minds of many, Boosie and the Nussie case were forever connected. So when YoungBoy dropped a song called Nussie, it struck a nerve. For Boosie, this wasn't just music. It reopened one of the darkest chapters of his life, a chapter where everything, his freedom, career, and name, was on the line. As soon as the track dropped, the hip-hop world lit up again. Blogs, YouTube channels, and fan pages exploded with opinions. Some people argued YoungBoy was simply honoring a Baton Rouge legend. Others were convinced it was a direct shot at Boosie. Either way, the city was buzzing. Boosie was clearly caught off guard. He didn't respond with rage or instant backlash, but you could tell the song didn't sit right with him. That name wasn't just history to Boosie. It symbolized one of the hardest fights of his entire life. So hearing it resurface, especially from someone he had just made peace with, cut deep. Fans immediately split down the middle. Some defended YoungBoy, saying he's always told stories through his music. Others pointed out the timing felt way too intentional to ignore. Was it coincidence? Or was it a message without saying it outright? Either way, Baton Rouge couldn't stop talking about it. Boosie stayed composed. Instead of firing back online or through diss records, he chose maturity. He focused on business, on family, on community work. That silence spoke louder than any response could. It showed growth, control, and discipline. Meanwhile, YoungBoy kept moving the way he always does, locked in his own world, dropping music non-stop, letting numbers and influence speak for themselves. Love him or hate him, his impact is undeniable. When YoungBoy releases something, the culture reacts. The Nussie moment reminded everyone of one thing. No matter how successful you become, the past is never far behind, especially in Baton Rouge, a city where history, loyalty, and pride live inside every lyric. When Boosie finally addressed the song, you could hear the weight in his voice. In an interview, he didn't hide how he felt. He spoke about respecting the dead, saying something along the lines of, "If we had issues when you were alive, that was between us, but I won't disrespect someone who's gone." That response showed maturity, even through pain. Still, it was clear he felt a line had been crossed. This wasn't about clout or competition. It was about respect. That reference touched a wound Boosie spent years trying to heal, and hearing it come from someone he trusted made it hurt even more. Yet he chose restraint. He could have dropped a diss. He could have gone viral with accusations, but he didn't. When asked if he'd talk to YoungBoy again, Boosie was firm. He said, "I don't hate him, but I don't play like that. Some things you just don't do." There was no anger in his tone, just disappointment. For Boosie, this wasn't about keeping a feud alive. It was about loyalty, trust, and how fragile peace really is. He truly believed they were moving towards something bigger for Louisiana: unity, legacy,
an example for the younger generation watching. But with Nussie, that progress vanished overnight. Trust disappeared, collaboration plans died, and that vision of unity faded again. Old wounds reopened, and once that happens, there's no easy way back. This entire situation shows how complicated pride, history, and loyalty can become, especially when two legends come from the same city. Boosie and NBA YoungBoy should be building Louisiana together, showing the world what Baton Rouge talent really looks like. Instead, unresolved emotions pulled them backwards. And the truth is, this story may not be finished. YoungBoy is still young, driven, and fearless with his words, sometimes without considering how deep they might cut. Boosie, on the other hand, is a seasoned vet, a man who survived decades of pressure and earned his respect. He's not someone who lets his name get played with, even while moving with wisdom. Something tells me there are more chapters ahead. Whether that's more music, more interviews, or even an unexpected reunion, only time will tell. Because at the end of the day, both of them are Louisiana royalty. There's room for both to shine. It's just unfortunate to see pride block what could have been legendary. Now, I want to hear from you. Was YoungBoy wrong for dropping Nussie? Or was it simply artistic expression? Did Boosie handle it the right way by staying calm? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because we're going to keep breaking down Louisiana's wildest hip-hop stories. No sugarcoating.